I've always got more projects than I can shake a stick at, and today we're going to add one to the fray. This is my old knife shack. I've made all my knives here since moving out, and it's been really good for what it is. The problem is now it's starting to fall apart. The roof is sagging. The entire structure is actually starting to kind of lean and tilt in a way that's not confidence inspiring. So now that I've got power to the shop, it makes more sense to actually move my grinding shack closer to the shop. So I'm going to make a new grinding shack, and this one is going to come down. Now every year I do a lot of smoked sausages and smoked jerky, and I just use this little propane smoker. I've been wanting to make a proper smokehouse for a long time, so I figured I'm actually going to use all this wood here, repurpose it because it's in decent shape, all this cedar, and make an awesome smokehouse. I'm pretty excited for it. So this is going to come down, and we're going to get started on our smokehouse build. First order of business is to remove all the good wood that I can save. And heck, maybe these hinges will even be able to be repurposed for the doors on the smokehouse. Alright, first panel off. Unfortunately, this back panel is not screwed on, so we're going to see. Can give it a tappy tap tap. Just break those nails loose here. One down. I love that dead bird. There she goes. I'm betting this whole thing will come crashing down with a few good shoves. After I removed all the walls of support for it, really just wasn't there. Oh, it's breaking. This support beam is breaking. I don't want to be underneath it. Let's try from a different angle. There she goes. Yesterday I did a little bit more dismantling, and this roofing was an absolute pain. It's way heavier than it looks. And the wood that I'm going to use for the smoker is in way worse shape than what I thought. It is so, like, taking it apart, this stuff is so fragile. I have no idea how exactly old this wood is. I know it's at least 20 years old. Here it all is. I laboriously removed all of the big nails out of each board, and this is what I've got to work with. And they have definitely seen better days, but I think for my application they're going to work out just fine. My next step right now is to actually build the frame of the smoker. So this is all the scrap wood that I've got. Majority of it came from the old knife shack. And the dimensions I'm going for are 2x2x4 for the smoker frame. And I'm not 100% sure this is going to be enough. In fact, I don't think that really will be. One of the main beams that I was planning on using from the knife shack is actually treated lumber, and I don't want to use treated lumber for cooking. So I might have to pilfer some other studs or 2x4s from another project, which won't be the end of the world. I can make it happen. But we're going to get working on our frame and see what we can come up with all these scrap pieces here. First thing I'm going to make is the very bottom frame. So I'm just going to go 4 pieces, 2 feet long each one. And I'll make the opening the wider section. Here are my 4 2-foot sections all slapped together. You can see how I've got the wider side is going to be towards the front. We'll leave a little more room for the door opening here. I'm just going to run some nails, screws rather, all through these. Finished up making this base box, and I cut up some of the scraps to make these little anchor points. And what this is going to allow me to do is when I go to make the main studs here for the 4-foot height, I can just put the stud right up against this. It just makes it a lot easier versus having to do a pocket joint or a toenail or something. Where those screws go. I'll get one of those on all 4 sides. Finished installing all my little attachment points here and realizing that I don't have anywhere close to enough wood. Because ideally I'd use 8 of these to make a corner on every single one. And then in the middle, probably do another 2 cross sections here. Anyways, I'll have to steal some from another project. So in order to get my 4-foot height on top of these 2x6s, I'm going to make this 38 inches, and that'll give me that 4 feet of total height. And these are going to be attached just like this. Okay, I got my 8 pieces here. Now it's just a matter of holding them up, tacking them into the support beam here, and then finishing up the top square, and the frame of my new smoker will be all but done. Last one here. Perfect. Right, it's looking nice. So this is the top of my smoker here. And I got this top box finished out, but this wood was so janky and just not straight that I couldn't get this perfectly square, so we're going to do the best we can with fitting this on. And I did these little reinforcement studs here. Same as the bottom, same construction method here. I'm going to try and slip this on to the best of our ability. Okay, like I said, that's not super perfect, but it should get the job done here. It's actually not too bad. So I'm all done with the main body of my smoker. I'm actually going to make the entire roof removable so it can just sit on by itself, and you can take it off to get better access at whatever it is you're cooking. And now my next job is to take all this old cedar and cut it down to 4 feet and start tacking it on to the frame here. So on the side of this table, I built myself a little stop where I can take the board, hit the stop, and know I'm at my 4 feet. That way, I don't have to keep measuring every single board. And the same boards will line right up. Got a few of these pieces milled out, and I'm just really dying to see what it's going to look like on this one side here. So I got my little nail gun here, and let's see if we can't get a few of these pieces on. Again, you're dealing with warped wood on top of warped wood, so you kind of just got to go with what's going to work out the best, not necessarily what's perfect. This little Harbor Freight gun sucks. Shoots blanks all the time. And you think you'll put a little indent in it from the hammer, but it won't it won't actually drive a nail. So I've done it where you think you're doing stuff, think you're hammering in, nailing in, and then the piece just falls off. But it was cheap, so you can't complain too much. And it mainly works. I feel like I should set this inside the shop so I have a nice flat bottom. But should be okay because my length is all right. I'll just err on the side of a little bit high on top. Unfortunately, my fatherly duties are beckoning, so this is it for me for today, but I made great progress. Look at the patina on that wood. Isn't that something else? It already looks like it's been smoked in for 50 years. Anyways, I got more done than I expected. I wasn't actually planning on putting on any of the siding. I just wanted to get the frame done today. So that was a bonus. Here it is from the front view. I think with this 4-foot height, it's going to be great. My plan is to get 2 rows of sausages hanging, so I'm going to put 2 rows of rebar on either side of this, so I'll have 4 bars in there total to get a lot of delicious smoked sausages going on in here. I'm super excited. Anyways, that's it for today. Come back tomorrow. Started working on it this morning. Got my little guy helping me. And I'm just about done with all of the first layer of paneling, and I'm wondering if I'm even going to do a second layer. We'll see. I think I'm probably going to start with just this first layer. I'll line all the inside with foil to 1, fireproof it, and 2, get rid of those gaps that we don't want. And now I've got to fill in these gaps here that are a little bit shorter than a full width. So unfortunately I've got to rip using this janky old table saw that I really don't enjoy using. Alright, last piece on. So from that knife shack, I've got this ready-made door complete with hinges. It's got a handle. It's even got this little hand-forged lock here, which I probably won't use. It's seen better days. But I just need to take this apart, shrink it up, put it back together, and those hinges, I might have to hammer out back straight. I think they were wrapped around a post. That's why they were bent. No big deal. And just like magic, those 2 angles cut. Come back and measure this. We're right out of 38 1/4, which is our opening size, and that should fit perfectly. Here's our door piece, nice and finished. It's got this overhang here, that way it's going to seal up nicely to let the smoke stay in there. Should fit here. I wanted to get rid of these gaps, but I know from experience that if you make them tight, they'll swing and they'll just stick. Anyways, I'm going to make those hinges. So I got some hinges right here, the same ones I took off of that door. We're just going to pound them flat. So these hinges are going to work beautifully right here. But since they're a little proud here, I'm going to take them off with an angle grinder. Just cut that edge off. Got that door on there nicely. Stays open. It's nice. Now I can put the handle on there. Some sort of lock. And we will be done at the bottom. Start time on the roof. I found this old brass pull knob. Decided to use that instead of that giant leg out there. So I'm kind of half find the middle here. The hole's a little small. Perfect. So I got some more scrap wood here. First step for the roof is to cut all of them at a 45-degree angle. They got these nails in them. I don't really want to run through that. There we go. Three more. I cut this piece of wood the exact length of my smokehouse. I can set it right here, match up the ends, make sure we're nice and straight. Then I can draw and cut out this little square. It'll sit nicely on top of my smokehouse. Got my drawn out mark there where to cut. Let's see how this works. So I got my little A-frame all trimmed up, and I'm on a nice flat level surface. I'm just going to screw these in from the top. There we have it. It'll fit nicely. I don't think I'm going to need a third. I'm just going to run probably two little stringers or purlings, whatever you want to call them, horizontally across these, and I'll put one at the very base here. That'll give it a nice seal for all the smoke that's going to be coming through. Making progress.